يا راغبا في كل علم نافع.
ينمو العلم ويتقدم بتقنياته ومجالاته، ومعه نطور أدواتنا في تقديم العلم الشرعي. أكاديمية
زاد أكاديمية ينبوعها صاف ليروي غلة الظمآن. هذا كتاب الله روح قلوبنا، خير الدروس تعلم القرآن. بشرى لنا زاد أكاديمية للعلم كالأزهار في البستان.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه والتابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. In the name of Allah, the Compassionate, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, and may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon His Prophet Muhammad, his family and his companions, all until the day of judgment. I welcome you to this new episode from the series of Tafsir, and we are dealing with Surah Al-Inshiqaq, and we already covered part of it, and where we stopped, فأما من أوتي كتابه بيمينه فسوف يحاسب حسابا يسيرا وينقلب إلى أهله مسرورا. Now we're coming to the second part, which is وأما من أوتي كتابه وراء ظهره فسوف يدعو ثبورا. Now, in the interpretation of that, but as for the one or he who is given his record behind his back, وَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ وَرَاءَ ظَهْرِهِ, his right hand will be tied to the neck and his left hand will be caused to be behind his back. So he will be given his book behind, within his left hand, behind his back, as an indication of what he used to do in this life, where he turned his back on the book of Allah Azza wa Jal, and he did not care about it and did not pay attention to the book of Allah, and he did not see anything wrong with going against it. So that is in return to what he did. So he will be given his record in his left hand, as opposed to be given the one who did righteous deeds to be given in his right hand. He will cry out for destruction. Of course, he will فسوف يدعو ثبورا, meaning he will cry out for destruction, lamenting his doom when he sees his record. فسوف يدعو ثبورا. He would say, "Oh, destruction to me! Oh, bad to me! How bad is my my record and what I did in this life." This will utter words of regret and sorrow. This is like the verse which Allah Azza wa Jalla says, "They will cry out thereupon for destruction." That is in Surah Al-Furqan, where people will cry out for destruction again. They will call upon themselves for thubur, or destruction, and to burn in a blaze. وَيَصْلَى سَعِيرًا. That is, he will be admitted into fire and burn in it. This is like the verse where Allah says, he will enter and burn in the greatest fire. Again, the same thing in Surah Al-A'la, where the same meaning is repeated again in the other surah, in the part of Amma, in Juz Amma. Indeed, he had once been among his people in happiness. إِنَّهُ كَانَ فِي أَهْلِهِ مَسْرُورًا. He used to be happy in this life with his family, and he forgot and did not care about the second life, where he will be facing requital and he will be held to account for what he did. So he did not do that, and that's why he used to be happy in this life, but now is real life coming. Indeed, he had thought he would never return to Allah. That's the reason, because he thought that he will never return to Allah. إِنَّهُ ظَنَّ أَلَّن يَحُورَ. That is, he thought that he would never be brought back to life and resurrected, then he would be brought to account. The word al-hawr meaning to return, it appears in the hadith where the Prophet ﷺ used to say, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-hawri ba'da al-kawr, meaning, oh Allah, I seek refuge with you from loss after plenty. So you don't want to lose after you earn, to have much and then you lose it. That is al-hawr, is the return. That's why in the ayah, لَن يَحُورَ إِنَّهُ ظَنَّ أَن لَن يَحُورَ, meaning to return to Allah Azza wa Jal. And this comes also in the Arabic poetry, where Labid, the famous poet, Labid ibn Rabi'a, said, man is nothing but a brilliant shooting star that returns to ashes. Yahuru ramadan. Yahuru ramadan, turns to ashes after having shone brightly. So that is where the word is used. And you know, we always depend on the earlier part of Arabic spoken during the times before Islam or after Islam for the first 3 centuries, where we can use the Arabic poetry and texts said by Arabs as to the meaning of a word, and where the word used to be said by the Arabs at that time. But yet, bala, that is, the matter is not as he thought. Bala inna rabbahu kana bihi basira, meaning that before he created him, he knew that he would return to him subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he knew that what already decreed for him of doom or bliss. So Allah knows that this person will not abide by the instructions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and therefore he will not be a good person, and therefore Allah knows exactly his destination. What we can learn from the ayahs, or the benefits of these ayahs: first, we learn about the record of the deed. Allah has made giving of the book or the record with the right hand as an indication that this person is blessed and destined for paradise. That's an indication if given in the right hand, because normally the right hand is customarily used to handle clean and good things. This is natural. When you shake hands in most cultures, it is done in the right hand. If you give a person something, normally you give them with the right hand, and so on. So this is a human tendency instilled in human beings, and that's one of the benefits. Secondly, in the verse, and return to his people in happiness. Now, Allah is expressing that this person is returning to his people, either to humans or al-hur, al-ain, the wives that he will have in paradise, because he is, this is likened to a person who went out for trade and came back with a profit, and he is happy returning to his family and enjoying the winning and attainment of what he earned. It's the same thing for these people who used to do good deeds and be righteous in this life, and then they will be doing the same thing, just like that winning or merchant who returned to his family after earning profits from his trade. Thirdly, the verse, but yes, Bala, indeed his Lord was ever of him seeing, meaning Bala inna rabbahu kana bihi basira, is indicative of the wisdom behind behind resurrecting people in order to requite them for their deeds. It's not proper for Allah Azza wa Jal to let the one who was doing evil to go on without being held on the Day of Judgment for what he did. Nor would Allah Azza wa Jal leave a person who did well not to be compensated and not to be rewarded for the Day of Judgment. So the Day of Judgment is a day of requital and holding people account for each person for what he sent forth in from this life to the hereafter. These are the benefits of the ayah. Now coming to the activities of this episode, the first one, quote 3 verses from the glorious Quran, which refers to the splitting of the sky on the day of resurrection. Well, there are many, as we said in this ayah, إِذَا السَّمَاءُ انشقت, also in الانفطار إِذَا السَّمَاءُ انفطرت, and also in the glorious Quran, وَيَوْمَ تَشَقَّقُ السَّمَاءُ بِالْغَمَامِ وَنُزِّلَ الْمَلَائِكَةُ تَنزِيلًا. There are many verses in the glorious Quran in this regard, and you'll find them. The word inshaqat in particular, or infatarat, you'll find that in the glorious Quran. Secondly, why will the disbelievers be given their record from behind their back? We already talked about that, and we said that this is because they turned their back from the truth on the book of Allah, and therefore they will take their book or record on the Day of Judgment from behind. Just like one action for one action, the same action was given to them again on the Day of Judgment. And what do you understand from the eloquent Quranic phrase, and return to his people in happiness? Subhanallah. Of course, because what you understand is that you return to your own people, to your family members who will be with you in paradise, and to Al-Hur Al-Ain in enjoyment and happiness, because you feel the profit just like the merchant, and you feel that you have attained success, and that's why you're so happy for what you did and what Allah gave you as a reward and out of His own generosity subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is showing us what has been what this ayah can be reflected on from your own thinking. So that brings us to the end of this episode. Until I see you, inshallah, in the coming episode, I leave you with Allah's care and protection. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
يا راغبا في كل علم نافع
ينمو العلم ويتقدم بتقنياته ومجالاته، ومعه نطور أدواتنا في تقديم العلم الشرعي. أكاديمية زاد
أكاديمية ينبوعها صاف ليروي غلة الظمآن. هذا كتاب الله روح قلوبنا، خير الدروس تعلم القرآن. بشرى لنا زاد أكاديمية للعلم كالأزهار في البستان.